So, The Boys' final season is finally here, and honestly, just 2 episodes in, things are already getting way too diabolical. If you haven't watched it yet, this is your spoiler warning, because we're breaking down everything, including details you probably missed. This season begins about a year after the assassination of Robert Singer at VOD International's annual shareholder meeting, where the visual setup immediately stands out. Everything is drenched in patriotic colors, almost like they're presenting a messiah rather than a corporate hero. And that's exactly what's happening, because Homelander is no longer being shown as just a product, but as a godlike figure, someone who genuinely believes he deserves worship. And during his speech, he even labels the Starlighters as domestic terrorists, creating massive problems for Starlight and her team. Meanwhile, behind the stage, Annie has already infiltrated the event disguised as a performer, but this version of her is very different. She's no longer trying to expose Homelander legally, instead she's using deception, showing clear signs that she's adopting the methods of Billy Butcher and even Queen Maeve, something Huey Campbell directly points out, marking a major shift in her character. Then comes the first major shock when the unedited Flight 37 footage is suddenly broadcast live, exposing the truth about Homelander. And the silence that follows is intense, as everyone realizes the truth about him, while his eyes glow red, showing how close he is to completely snapping, only to be held back by Sister Sage, which sets up an important power dynamic for the rest of the season. Shortly after, we see a White House press briefing where Ashley Barrett quickly dismisses the footage as an AI-generated deepfake, pushing a false narrative without hesitation, which feels disturbingly real in today's world where truth can easily be manipulated. And even worse, people start turning that tragic footage into memes and reels, showing how disconnected society has become. Ashley also reveals that she now has powers after taking Compound V, but at a horrifying cost, a second parasitic face growing on the back of her head, symbolizing her long-standing dual nature, as the show cleverly turns her internal psychology into physical body horror. The story then shifts to Freedom Camp 47, where Huey, MM, and Frenchie are imprisoned, and the background details are chilling. People are being tortured, while others casually eat Homelander-branded burgers, showing how normalized violence has become, even within corporate systems. And we also see propaganda being pushed through books and media. Familiar faces return too, like Love Sausage, who is no longer comic relief, but an enforcer. Then we get Billy Butcher traveling to London to confront his abusive father, and although it's not explicitly shown, it strongly feels like he's there for revenge, marking the beginning of his darker descent. Meanwhile, Homelander continues spreading propaganda through interviews, with even a subtle mention of Elon Musk, while the Deep and Black Noir launch their own podcast with a submarine-themed setup, adding dark humor to the narrative. Back at the camp, chaos erupts when Homelander arrives and brutally attacks everyone, killing without hesitation and even tearing Kimiko apart, until Starlight temporarily blinds him, allowing a moment for escape. And this is where A-Train steps in, using his speed in a visually stunning sequence reminiscent of Quicksilver, ultimately redeeming himself by saving Huey and sacrificing his own life, completing his arc in a powerful way.